Are modern relationships doomed to fail?
Yes, because of false expectations and no real preparation. Nobody taught you how to date. If your mama's single and her mama's single and all her sisters are single, you ain't never seen no quality relationship be successful in your immediate household. So you don't know how to have a successful relationship.
All right.
And you're going to take advice from your single mama, your single grandmama, and your single auntie. You go to dinner tonight, you see a couple with their child. That child has an iPad in his or her hand, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. It has become the babysitter. We are making our kids addicted to these screens at baby ages. They know how to work that damn iPad better than me.
Or are we completely cooked, or is there a way to turn this around?
In my opinion, I think it's going to get nothing but worse going forward as far as these screens are concerned, because we carry them in our pocket now. In my opinion, it's worth it. The hell we go through for trying to be a good father pales in comparison, because I know some sorry mofos that have literally never paid a dime in child support, barely see the kids if or ever, and nobody ever goes and pursue them. But the father that's there doing his best and trying to do all this other stuff, he catches hell. So I don't know what that philosophy is or how it comes about, but that sucks.
Podcast twins, we are on location again, and before I wind Vince up and let him cook, tell him, Vince.
Hey, first of all, you see, we're having our summer series of On Location. So
there you go.
We got a whole bunch of different spots we're going to be filming at. So we want to thank all of the places, all of the owners in advance, including our very own producer, the very own brother Curfton. So we want to thank him for allowing us to bombard his home right now.
That's our triplet that never gets on camera.
That's right. Well, you got to have that mysterious guy. But anyway, everybody, give us, please, 2 seconds of your life. Reach down there and click that little red button. Hit the subscribe button. We are doing extremely well. We want to do that much better. So we have goals we want to hit by the end of the year. We can't do it without your help. So please click the subscribe button, hit the little bell icon, and don't forget to follow us on our other social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, all of those beautiful things. We try to stay on your entire timeline. So work with us.
And just go to podcasttwins.com. All the links are there. Our sponsors are on there. Thank you to our sponsors. Yes. Vince, before we get started, you better light up a cigar, because you're gonna need one.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, hey, that's the beautiful thing about it. You know, we're gonna come out here, and Drew has obviously brought some topics that he wants to get up off his chest. He swears it's gonna get me fired up, but he don't know I'm a very laid back guy, man.
Very laid back.
I don't get worked up like that. So. But,
challenge accepted.
But, you know, being as though that we do have a sponsor on the table here, and they provided us with a little bit of stuff, I will go ahead and appease that and get one going. So, Drew, what's going on in the world, brother? What's happening?
Well, you know, it seems like a few things are happening. One is the screens are taking over.
Okay.
Which I guess is good and bad. It's good for us because people are watching us on a screen right now.
Yes.
It seems like AI robots are a real thing now. So
AI robots, like the cleanup, the ones that gonna clean your house.
I'm talking about the ones that people are trying to take and marry and date and all that kind of crazy stuff.
You mean I was gonna call the R word, but we can't use that word either.
All right.
The special people that now feeling like their personal relationships should now be in the hands of AI. Okay. I don't know what's going on with those kids, and I even hear some adults that's doing that as well. So I'm not even gonna put that all on the kids. So either way, it sounds like some people need a whole lot of damn therapy.
And then we're gonna end it by firing you up even more, because we know about, you know, Ed Colo, when he was on the Man Up, said that masculinity is under attack constantly in the United States, and we never really talked about that much. So we got a couple of Vince Bell specials.
All right, well, let's go, man. What you want to talk about? How we gonna lead this thing off?
You know, I when I was married the first time, I noticed a lot of people getting divorced because of Facebook. Okay. And that seems kind of like where it started. People were more shopping for their next relationship than they were fighting for the one they had or the one they were in.
Wow, that's an interesting take on it. I'm going to put it even before that. I could go back to classmates.com, which was before.
I remember classmates.com.
But I tell you what, during my divorce, it was a lifesaver. That was my therapy because that reconnected me with all of my friends from high school. And so I was staying up late nights instead of crying and going through it and feeling the way. I was able to just talk to my friends and keep it going. Even though we did create after dark chat room in there. So we did have a little opportunity to have a little nastier talk than what we would have normally had on the regular classmates.com.
And
so yeah, but I hear you. Social media is a drug.
So from classmates.com to Facebook allegedly ruining relationships to, or maybe that was just the excuse people needed to get out of it. So, but what do you, I mean, your parents were married for 61 or 62 years?
66 and a half years.
66 and a half years. So
no social media.
That was back in the day where people would get married and stay married no matter what.
Yeah. Well, you know what? People back then married with a purpose and said, we're now going to build our family. This is what it is. It didn't have all of these precursors that you got to have today. You know, it was not, what's the best way to put that? It wasn't superficial. They was marrying, and once you got married, unless something detrimental happened, most of those couples stayed married for like 40, 50, 60 years, truly till death did apart. Now you had your divorces, because you still had some husbands that didn't bring the whole check home. They like to go out there and have a few sips, but they wound up spending the mortgage money or whatever.
Or maybe spend time at the casino or with
whatever.
Other ladies or who knows
or whatever distractions may have been there, you did have those people. Now what happened is women eventually, especially as the 70s came in the fold, when the women's movement started, they started working more. So you went to a point where she was forced to stay because she didn't have any money, to now she chose to leave because felt like she could do it on her own rather than stay in a bad marriage. I mean, that's where all of that started to happen. But yeah, I mean, my mom and pops, I mean, they had a couple, real tough ones, a couple of tough years. And I said to her at one point, I'm like, Ma, y'all gonna divorce? She's like, I'm mad, but where am I gonna go?
Divorce is good for business. It's good for taxes. It's good for all kinds of stuff, right?
Divorce is good for attorneys.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the business. That's the business of divorce. Now it's ridiculous, but yeah, business is and you know what's ironic? Talking to young people, they have no interest in legal marriages today. Very little interest. They want to jump the broom, so to speak, but don't want to bring the state involved. And I understand them, because if you have something of value that you want to treasure, the moment you do the real I do's, everything you build from that point forward becomes susceptible. And that's with a prenuptial agreement, because they got to understand that takes you up to the point of I do. Once I do hits, now it's 50-50. Well, 50-ish going forward. So
give or take.
You want to be very, very careful. So I understand them. I mean, but like I tell them always, to understand the business of marriage. See, the relationship is one thing, and the relationship is the main thing. But when you start talking about the business of marriage, it only makes sense if it makes sense to the business, because you have your social security number, he has his social security number. And when you put those together, you just become a larger business. That's why you get tax breaks. That's why you have to apply for a marriage license. You get a number. Your business is the business of marriage. So that usually back in the day, that was helpful because it helped you build a home. It helped you build the American dream, so to speak. But, now young ladies don't have to have a guy to do that. But I told them 2 is always better than 1. Now you can have a non-traditional marriage and still keep it with some legalities. You can still set it up, but it's just going to cost you more in legal fees as you move along. because you buy a house, you put it in each other's name. Now you can't sell it because it needs your signature and my signature instead of or.
So
anyway,
are people, let's say the younger people, right? The people that you mentor through the Kappas, the people that you work with at the firehouse, the people that you're interacting with, their moms. You talked about single moms and men versus males episode, which we'll get into as well. How does being addicted to a screen affect the dating life?
Well, okay, let's take it back to the 80s and the 90s. People were addicted to screens. It was just attached to a video game.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. Guys would sit there hours and hours and hours up to and including missing dates, missing things that they're supposed to be doing because you locked away, put 12 hours a day onto that video game. It's just different now because it caters more to our attention deficit, because now it's short term, scroll up. You know, if it don't catch you within the first 5 to 7 seconds, you lose and yeah, you can sit there and waste away 2-3 hours of your time. But in my opinion, they are missing these appointments or dates because they didn't want to go.
So are we completely cooked, or is there a way to turn this around?
Well,
it's the podcast twins for Tuber Storage. If you're looking to store your cigars, take them to the golf course, go camping, just take them with you pretty much anywhere. Tuber Storage is awesome.
Man, look, this thing is waterproof. You can hear the seal pop right there. Nice storage. You can put anything in here, your vitamins or anything that you want to control the scent. This thing holds it all together. Look at this one, different sizes. These are amazing products, man. I really think so. And they float. So if you happen to be on the boat that jumps off to the side, you can jump in there and retrieve it.
So if you go to tuberstorage.com, enter the code PODCASTTWINS, make sure you put a space in between them. You'll get 15% off and really awesome products.
Be like us, use Tuber. I would say this, in my opinion, my little opinion. I think it's going to get nothing but worse going forward as far as these screens are concerned, because we carry them in our pocket now. The old video games, right? We had to come home and sit down and play our systems back in the day, the Ataris and all these other things.
If it was raining outside.
If it was raining. But I mean, I'm talking about even during the years where you would have grown men still playing these games well into their 20s, 30s, and upsetting their spouses. How many spouses bought their husband that video game and was mad as hell by February or March because she literally lost her husband because now he had this brand new video game system, whichever one, the Xbox 360 and all of these, playing Madden, whatever, Call of Duty. You bought it for him, and now you're mad because he's using it.
So a football widow became a video game widow, now becomes a cell phone widow or widower.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, football season didn't go away. The Xbox just got added to it.
Got it.
You dig? So, I mean, look, it's all about recreation. So, but I think it takes personal accountability. I personally don't have one in my house because I know I could get addicted to it quickly.
Okay.
When my kids had the Xbox, the second one, I don't know what it was called, Xbox 1 or 2, whatever it was, we had the Dance Revolution pads on the floor. You know, the dance, and man, I'd be playing it by myself. You know, I messed around and had the original Call of Duty. This is when I knew I couldn't play video games no more. I wasn't good at it, but by the time I looked up, I took my son to school. He was in middle school at the time. Started at 9:30. My youngest got out of school at 2:00. She was in the elementary. By the time I got home and started playing Call of Duty, by the time I looked up, I had to go get my daughter. 4 hours. I did nothing. And I was like, I gotta quit. I knew that would have triggered that competitive behavior within me to try to get better and better and better. And I was a single guy. So it wasn't like I was losing my wife or nothing like that at the time. But I lost an entire day where I did absolutely nothing, but I felt like I was only playing for
15 minutes.
Maybe an hour. It felt like an hour. Looked up, 4 hours was gone, man. I had to go get her. So I get it, man. I think it's a tough thing, but I don't see it getting better.
I mean, you don't see everything has a knee-jerk reaction when it gets to a certain point, it seems. So you don't see it going all the way, the needle's all the way to the right. You don't see it slamming back at some point?
No, because again, how many, you go to dinner tonight, you see a couple with their child, that child has an iPad in his or her hand, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. It has become the babysitter. We are making our kids addicted to these screens at baby ages. They know how to work that damn iPad better than me.
So let's take it a step further then.
Go.
Our kids, and let's say under 15 or under 12 or under 10 or your G-Pips, are those kids gonna be dating AI robots instead of human beings? Because they're basically turning into robots now?
You know, that's a very interesting point because the social aspect of it, you know, we always talk about kids not really needing to go to school because it's a waste of time outside of the social. Literally, you can educate your kid at home in 2 hours what they're wasting their entire 8-hour day on, except for the social needs. So, and now that the social is almost a thing of the past, you know, I do fear that. But my kids, my grandkids will never have that issue because they're going to be outside kids. Now, it may be lesser people for them to meet because nobody's outside, but I'm gonna do my best to try to fight that from my particular standpoint. You know, hell, I'm gonna be going back to arranged marriages by then. I'm gonna go out and find one of them kids and be like, hey, you, let me, yeah, oh, you got it going on? All right, come on, this is what we're gonna do.
So, but you think that you're in the minority, the vast minority then?
Because I think.
You are. You are in the vast minority.
Because I think.
Okay.
Most people don't want to think about it.
Reading and doing math and thinking is hard, so a lot of people don't do it. I get it. So
they spend all their thinking hours at work.
I mean, would you, if an AI robot was perfect in every way, would you go? If you were a single man, would you go on a date with an AI robot?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Again, in the minority though.
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? No, man. There's no way. Listen, man. That's like going back to Porky's movie back in the early '80s. When they had the blow up doll. I mean, you know, you was a weirdo. I look at you as a weirdo if you're dating an AI robot. You're an absolute damn it weirdo. So no, you'll never catch me doing no crazy stuff like that. You know, even with the whole silicone dolls now in the house. I mean, they got the whole sex dolls thing. It's supposed to feel like real skin and all this other kind of stuff like that. Man, let me come up and catch somebody I know with one of them damn things in their house. I'm like, bruh, you know, what happened to the old school, get you some Jergens and a towel and go to work? Now you got to make it feel real because you too afraid to go outside and say something to a woman?
Oh, my.
I'd rather you rent some, bro. Some ladies out there that need to pay their rent, man. I'd rather you give them that money.
So, I mean, for us, AI is not going to replace human connection. But what about millennials and younger? I mean, it seems like it's already happening. You don't think it's going to slam back at all? You think it's going to get worse?
I think it's going to get worse.
That scares the crap out of me.
But as far as the relationship side, I think it's just those that now again, that's just what I've seen. It's that weird kid that turns out to, you know, the same weird kid that'll wear a trench coat in the summertime and all black and nobody says anything to him.
So effort is being replaced by convenience.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, you don't have to learn anything. I mean, dude, do you even know that the kids don't even have to add anymore? You know, you ask them, hey man, how much is 5 + 7? They reach for the phone before they even think. You know, they really do. They don't have to add anymore. They never learned how to write in cursive. If you have a child that's under 25 years old that know how to write in cursive, they are a dinosaur.
So that's why Russ says when the power goes out, God forbid, one day, that's it. 90% of people are completely cooked.
We're done. That's because only thing we know how to do is electronic bass. You know, most of them can't start a fire. Like
So-
literally can't start a fire.
So then are guys like Andrew Tate affecting that at all for young men?
Okay, now,
Now we're gonna fire you up.
all right. So listen, Andrew Tate, one of the most polarizing figures on the internet. And it is very simple. He preaches for men to become dominant creatures on this earth. That's what he preaches. He tells these young men how to go out here and earn millions of dollars early in life so they can live this life. As far as the relationships they're looking to build, that's where me and him kind of differ a little bit because he wants domineering, controlling relationships as opposed to
Partnership.
partnerships. You know, but again, the facts do remain that if this man is making X amount of dollars, if he is literally a high value man, he will choose the most, the easiest to go partner. He wants that person that's going to look the best, know how to shut up when necessary, and be childless and fit, feminine, and friendly, which takes us back to the other person who's very polarizing was Brother Kevin Samuels. And they hated him. They hated him all over the internet as much as they did Tate. The only difference was Kevin Samuels was really digging into the relationship aspect of it by telling them, hey, look, if you are 37 years old, you got 3 kids with 3 baby daddies, what in the hell make you think that you are qualified for a high value man making $180,000, $200,000 a year and going to be ready to take care of you and your 3 kids with 3 baby daddies? He wasn't telling her that she couldn't have a man. He's saying you don't qualify for that man.
So, but is that the way women in real life think, or is that just the people you see on social media?
These were
that
women
they're
in real
pushing to
life
you?
calling into these shows.
Okay.
They were literally calling into the show one after the next because they thought that their situation was different. You know, he would ask you, how old are you? What's your dress size? And how much did you weigh the last time you was on the scale?
All right.
And usually already by that time, because he was an image consultant, he would already tell them just height, weight, da-da-da. Look, you're going to be too big for that high value man. You know, you can't be 5'4" and 195 pounds. I don't care how curvy you think it is. Everybody on the street may call you thick. That high value man is going to be like, yeah, she's too fat for me. It can not be no shaking going on at all. That's just, and if he does come to you, you are the rarity. Go into your affluent areas and look around and see what the wives look like.
Okay, so forget about those two guys. They're polarizing, but they had a lot of logic.
They
weren't wrong all the time.
Different philosophies. Well, different ways to get to the same goal. For me, the Andrew Tate was a little bit much because he discounted the woman to me.
Okay.
He discounted her almost to nothing, but I did like what he was trying to aspire the young men to go out there and achieve something.
Okay.
I like that.
So then are we raising as a society men that are afraid to be men?
Who's raising the men?
I don't know who's raising them. I'm saying in general, but I mean,
statistically,
like they all go to, school. They all go around the neighborhood.
Who's the majority of the teachers in high school?
Females.
The females. Who's the majority of the teacher in middle school? Females. It's like insanely female driven.
It's lopsided.
90-some% to it's so if you got a female at home, probably 2, grandma and mama.
Okay.
If there's no man in his life on a daily basis, a father or somebody that is truly there to help guide and teach you, because as we discussed before, just because you're born a male, it does not make you a man. So no, how does he learn how to date? By watching his mama date these other dudes coming in and out the house?
Yeah, we agree that confidence is paramount.
Where's he going to get the confidence
Well,
from?
that's what I was going to say is like confidence has been labeled as toxic now. on the internet.
Because
At least on the internet.
Because the confidence that these young men walk around with now is not the confidence to walk into their manhood. It's the confidence that I can bust skins. It's the confidence that, well, if you don't have sex with me, she will. Watch. And it's just boom, boom, boom. And now she feels pressured because she like, well, damn, this the fourth dude in a row that showed interest in me. If I don't have sex, I'm gonna keep losing all these dudes. But he's not doing anything for you to you. There's no development in him other than notches on his belt. And again, I understand it as a young man. I've been one of those guys. I understand, but the bottom line still comes down to, as he matures, how does he mature? There has to be, every young man has to have that maturity side. And mothers can make a young man very respectful, teach him the basics, how to clean himself and all this other kind of stuff, but she can't teach him how to be a man. That manhood thing is learned, observed, and taught from another man, unless it takes that other guy, that man without a figure, a father figure. It takes him longer because now he has to piecemeal it together by what he sees. He may be watching you, he may be watching him, and put together his own form of manhood. Women do their best they can, but unfortunately, they can't raise a man.
So then, are moms too overprotective that it's actually hurting to wrap the kid in bubble wrap and never let him get hurt? Because we learn more from pain than we do by any other mechanism, especially men. Boys, we don't learn nothing until we feel the pain.
Yeah, well, that is the truth. Mothers will overprotect boys. And again, that's a double-edged sword, because depending on where you live, the area you come from, it can be very dangerous out in these streets. And feels like she's overprotecting him from hurt, harm, and danger in the street. But at the same time, that young boy that's being taught by a man, he's going to leave out the house with that lesson of, okay, I can be out here among what's happening, but I've been taught better about what to not involve myself in. Bro, I grew up on the Inglewood side of Chicago, South Side. It was danger everywhere outside, everywhere, every corner of the block. But I still was able to go out there and play and participate. And some of my friends that did go into that other stuff, hey man, I was more afraid of my father than I was of gangs trying to get me to come into the gang. You see what I'm saying? So, that's what I'm telling you, man, that the presence of my father, was straightening them boys up who call themselves being tough. So again, they had that respect for that. But so I think that's where the problem is going to come. Young males are out there looking for support. They're really looking for mentorship.
Well,
they just don't know how to find it.
And they've had it easy, right? If mom is protecting them from anything
she's
and
cooking
everything.
for them, she's cleaning up for them, she's buying a video game. He has to do nothing.
Okay.
He has to do nothing. The girls have to do everything, but he has to do nothing. He literally is a spoiled brat because he has become her man.
Okay, so how is that affecting young women?
Okay. So in that same scenario, they become resentful because they're watching their brother not do nothing because mommy does everything for him. And now she feels like you're picking on me. But the one thing she has is the ability to help her learn how to become a woman, because she is one, whether she's a marriage material type of woman or not, regardless. But at least the womanhood thing, hopefully she's more adept to teach her daughters. But she's protecting that boy, treating him, literally bringing him his plate, fixing his plate like he's her man. But the daughters a lot of them grow up with that resent. But most of them understand as they come up, but then they wind up protecting their brother too.
But don't you think the girls are just as protected?
By who?
The mom?
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
Because she feels like I gotta let her grow up and get ready for the world, but she won't let him do it.
Okay.
So I think that the girls have more leeway than that boy.
Because kids love their mom and
They
emulate their father.
emulate their father / fear. If he's doing it right.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. So there's a huge difference between raising a son and raising a man. And we talked about it a little bit on one of the previous episodes.
Yes, sir.
So what is the solution?
Oh, well, I would say the easiest thing to do is to educate your preteen daughters today that okay. So there's this show on TLC called Expected. Okay, it used to be 16 and pregnant. Now they call it Expected or something like that. Yo, I hated the title. I used to say it was glamorizing teen pregnancy. I did. I that's how I felt. After watching it, became understanding that they were trying to show how hard it is for them to do that. And I get it, and it's true. They do a decent job because they just let it all play out. But if you said what's the solution, I would say, if we could have more intact homes with mommy and daddy, like literally sticking around a little bit, it will help a lot. It would help tremendously guide the next generation of kid. The likelihood drops tremendously of at least a daughter teenage pregnancy when there's a nuclear family in the house.
Okay.
Drops tremendously. So I guess the word is values. We go back to a little bit older school values, but I think I just think sometimes people think they fall in love too fast and be willing to have babies with people that they don't even know, don't like them. And now you decide to break up after 2 or 3 years. Now you got a kid or two. Now you're out there by yourself. Well, you just reduced your likelihood of ever being remarried in your prime years to almost nothing. And I think that's where, again, you have single women, single men. They'll never acquire wealth because you need to have that. You need to have more than one in the regular world where people making the average salaries $50, $60, $70, $80,000. You're just making enough to get over to next month. You're really not getting over. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I think that's the real solution is quit having babies with every damn body. Quit having babies with this dude or this lady that you really don't know. I think that
Seems simple. Seems like simple advice.
Listen, look, y'all gonna bang it out, right? Everybody, you're gonna bang it out. That's cool. I get it. Take the precautions you need to not have the baby. Don't make the baby in a situation that you know damn well you ain't got no business in.
So what do you do to toughen them up as a dad?
Woo. Now, am I in the house dad or out the house dad?
In the house dad first, and then we'll get to out the house.
Well, in the house dad is easy because in the house dad, you if you're moving in the way you're supposed to move, your son will emulate what you do. There's a song by the mighty OJs, and it's called Family Reunion, and he talked about, and if the dad is being the dad, then the son is definitely gonna be okay.
All right.
And it's another part he said, and the daughter is watching her mother because sooner or later she's gonna be a mother, but she's watching her mother do the things for her father that she should be doing. That's how it moves to the next realm from being a female to being a woman to being wife material. Those are things that's observed. You used to be able to watch your grandparents. Man, now your grandparents in the club. Your grandparents in the club. Your grandparents is out.
You know, if you got an easy life, then it'll be tougher later in life, right? If you got no resistance then.
What do you mean?
Well, if you got an easy life where mom and dad or just mom is taking care of you and keeping you protected.
Now you talking about the boy or the girl or just children in general?
Let's talk about the boys.
Okay.
You know, boys don't get in fights in school anymore. When we were kids,
Yeah.
it was normal
Yeah.
to get in 3 or 4 fights at least by the time you were in high school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And
absolutely.
and now we were friends with that guy.
Yeah. You still hung out.
The next morning we were playing basketball in the street or roller hockey, or you had ice up in Chicago. We didn't have ice down here.
We didn't play ice hockey, bro.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
we play football in the snow.
Football in the snow.
Yeah,
so,
but I got you.
Ride your bike up to Bill Lips Field, and whoever was there, that's who you played football with, right?
Absolutely.
You drank out of the hose. We all know the Gen X stories. We see them on Instagram all the time. I did it. You
Gen X
did it.
is the best.
We did it. We are the best. But anyway,
continue.
So if you have an easy life, you have no resilience, right? Because nothing made you resilient.
Right.
So you have to have some bumps and bruises and aches and pains and heartbreak and pain to get tougher, to build character.
You need to get your heart broken by that girl.
Okay.
You gotta have that, because how else are you gonna grow?
You can't.
You can't grow without that heartbreak, man. Because you gotta, when she break your heart, you gotta be able to get up, dust your clothes off, and go on over there and holler at her friend or the next one, whoever's in line, because when you're a young man, it's all about a numbers game. See, back in the day, you could ask a woman to dance, and she might dance with you. It didn't mean y'all was finna go home together. Y'all wasn't finna get married. Y'all wasn't even finna bang it out that night. Y'all was literally just gonna dance for a couple songs until she said, I'm thirsty. You knew you didn't have no money in your pocket. So you'd be like, look, I'ma holler back at you on the next go round. And you move on out the way and go talk to the next one. But what that did is that built that confidence that you was talking about. You had to have confidence to walk up to a girl back in the day, knowing that she had 3 or 4 of her friends over there and they might blow you out the water. But today's world, if you get blown out the water, it's gonna be on the internet. That's why guys are scared to shoot their shot today, because they gonna blow them out. But at the same time, the whole theory of being at a dance club has changed, because now people don't dance. People come out there now, it's about getting a section. We're gonna sit in a section and be cute. You went and put all them clothes on, spent up all your money that you've been making for the last 2-3 weeks. Bought your dress, put some hair on your head, did all these wonderful things to come in the club and sit down and put a mean mug on your face to drink with your girls.
That doesn't sound fun at all.
It's not fun. I don't understand it.
Now I know why they're on the screen at home instead, because that sounds boring as hell.
Because that's the way it is. So now they're there partying with their girls. When they do dance in there, they got a circle this tight with 3 or 4 of their girls. They don't want to dance with another guy. So even if a guy, unless she really likes him or is attracted to him, I ain't gonna say like him. If she's attracted to him and he come over there and sort of flirt with her, she'll do it. But man, it's a whole different world, man. I mean, as an MC in clubs, man, I watched that transition happen in the early 2000s, 2010s. I used to have to get on the mic and say, fellas, this is a social environment. It's okay to go speak to the next person, man. You might walk out of here with a friend. You ain't got to marry the girl. You just say hi.
So are people more afraid of being embarrassed than they are of winning?
That's why they wear shades.
But winning is good, right? That's why we talked about Javi with sports.
But
and
losing
sports
is
teaches
easier.
you.
But if you lose because you don't try, you see what I'm saying?
That's worse.
Yeah, well, it's less painful. If you don't try, you lose by default. If you try and get blown up, your ego, your little bitty fragile ass ego gets destroyed. But if you shoot your shot, then this shirt makes a lot of sense. Because it ain't gonna suck itself. You might get lucky. But you gotta have the shot. You gotta be able to take your shot and walk over there and be willing to risk. But guess what? That's why even the thing we was just sitting at today when they were talking about women feeling more insecure about being in sales. That's because old school guys were used to playing a numbers game. You go out, you're gonna speak to 10, 11, 12 women. One of them might be nice to you. We're used to the word no. Well, older guys were used to the words no. Women never had to get rejected. So when they go into the sales force, and they hear no, it's like, no man ever tells me no. And it's harder for her to get into that world until she learns that not to take that no personal.
So, I mean, as we're devolving then as a whole.
Okay.
We're going backwards.
Well, we are going backwards to a degree, brother, but I would say those few people that are training their boys and their girls to be resilient out here, to understand that how to be social, to understand that in order for them to grow, you got to have a little hurt. You got to have some pain. You got to have some rejection and disappointment. Man, when you grow from that point, man, those few people got a chance to really do great things in the world.
Then it's important to point out that rejection and disappointment and heartbreak suck, but they make you a stronger human being. And the only way to grow is to have those things in your life. So you should be more afraid of not doing anything than you should. Them that? What about the fear of, you know, let's say you go back to asking a woman out or asking a woman to dance.
Yeah.
What about being more afraid of what if you have a phenomenal relationship with that woman?
Okay.
That's
right.
That's another kind of fear, right?
That's the benefit.
Well, that's another kind of fear, right? Like, whoa, you know, what if I had asked that girl and she said yes?
So here's my philosophy, because I famously did not buy drinks in this club for women. I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
I was 39 years old before I bought a strange woman a drink at a club. This is a bona fide fact.
Was it in the dish?
No.
I'm joking.
No. I was 39 years old, and it was just a random, you know, saw her, sent her a drink just to say that I did. Because my philosophy was always this. Whether I had money or not, it didn't matter. I probably didn't have no money, but regardless, the thing was this. My time is as valuable as your time. So, hey, look, let's dance together. We sharing time. You want to have a conversation with me? Have a conversation with me because you like me. And so from there, if our conversation is real good, guess what? I ain't going to get you a drink there, but we're going to go to Denny's and I'll get you breakfast, you know, or whatever, the post-club conversation. I'm using club talking about these years of our youth that we're discussing. That's how I was. So I wouldn't buy you a drink in there. But if we connected and we had good vibes, man, when we leave there, we can go get something to eat where we can sit across and get to know each other.
Okay.
So that was always my philosophy, and I was pretty successful at that. I was pretty successful at that. But then I had partners that was professionals that going broke at the club because they was going to win, because they really was just after the kill for the night.
So here's one for you then. How big of a deal that the, let's say, political situation in the United States has gotten so polarizing? Because when we were kids, nobody would think to ever bring up anything political on a date or at a club or anywhere, really. So how does that affect dating?
I don't think it affects it very much unless it...
So that's just a social media BS thing then?
Well, I was going to say this. Unless it affects where you go. So if you're going to a club that you know where predominantly people who vote red go, that's the only way I see that affecting that.
Interesting. Okay.
You know, you're the circle of your network, hanging out with like-minded people. In our day, we'd go to a club because it was mixed, not caring about a political situation. But we just wanted to be, oh man, this club they play a mixed music, they got mixed crowd, women from all different type of cultures. We picked that spot to go to.
Are there places like that? I don't know. I don't go to clubs
because
anymore.
Because of social media now, it's not advertised as that, but the people who are posting it, you know, okay, this person pretty much only posts blue type of content. And that's where those type, mindset people go. Again, social media has shaped a lot of things.
Yeah, this is what I'm getting at.
But I would say if you are on a date or out in public and you meet a woman or a woman meets a man or however the combination goes today, and you're discussing politics before you even thinking about moving in together,
You got your priorities
you
all
are
out of
all
whack.
jacked up.
All
And
jacked up.
yeah, you all jacked up. I mean, because if you're trying to smash, you ain't smashing.
Well, that and you just both voted for different criminals anyway. So,
Well,
like,
yeah,
what's the point of arguing?
Again, that's a whole different ball game. But listen, I believe in that because I swear that in my mind's eye, that the political hell, it's crashed the workplace because everything is social media driven. So if it's crashing the workplace, it's going to crash the dating scene because again, where do most people meet? At work.
On Tinder.
Well, I would say work is still first. Work is still first. Tinder and all that other stuff happens when you go on that work trip. But I still think that most relationships are developed at work.
Okay.
And so just in general coffee talk now, people already know which way you're leaning.
So are young people more apt toward just scrolling to the next lady? Because you don't need to try that hard, right? You just scroll to the next. Oh, this lady.
Absolutely.
I don't like this girl. I'm gonna scroll to the next one. Because that's the way dating apps are set up, right? They're set up to keep you on the app so they can sell you advertising, not so that you find your soulmate or whatever, right?
It's the path of least resistance.
No, I get that.
So if I'm a smash and dash guy, or if I just want entertainment for the evening, yeah, I'm gonna go and whoever responds to me, if I swipe on them and they respond to me, and after the second or third text, I can tell you to send me a nude picture of yourself and you send it, hey man, we zeroed in. I'm going after that. The hunt is on. But he still ain't working that hard because he's going to almost pre-negotiate the sex before he gets in his car to drive to you.
You remind me of I think it's Dave Chappelle stand-up where he talks about if pussy was a stock, it would plummet. Oh, yeah. It would be plummeting.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're giving it away.
They're donating. I mean, because it's, well,
that was Dave Chappelle's quote, not mine, by the way.
I say that the problem is that the young, as I was stating earlier, young ladies, young girls feel the pressure because they haven't had anybody to tell them their real value. They haven't had their daddy there to show them their real value. And when you understand your real value, it's okay to let that guy go by because guess what? He was just showing you already, he wasn't ready to stick with you. Even if y'all met and y'all had amazing chemistry, that if he likes you at all, if he's intrigued, he may go out after that date because you didn't, bed him down. He may go to his old regular, but if he come back and he takes the time to get to learn and understand you and know you, he might turn out to be somebody.
Okay, so.
But the problem is they got this false sense of loyalty too soon. They don't know how to date.
All right.
Just because we go to dinner does not mean we're exclusive. It don't. And if you're grown in your 30s, 40s, and y'all get out there, y'all have great chemistry, y'all smash it out, hey, that's great. It don't mean you're exclusive. That's conversational. What are we building towards? Hey, man, we just had a great night. We had great chemistry. We acted upon that chemistry. Hopefully we did it safely so we don't turn out here and have a damn baby in this process, let alone diseases. We don't even talk about diseases no more.
You don't want those.
Yeah, but they don't even care no more. But let alone that. But that's what I'm saying. I think that the falsehood of what that means, because people don't want to talk about it. They just want to, well, I'm just gonna see what happens. Well, if you just see what happens, you're not smart enough or bold enough or confident enough to ask those questions. If you want more, state it. If he or she don't want more, they should state it back and be like, hey, that was a great round. We had a great chemistry, great cool. I'll invite you for the Christmas party.
Well, but Chris Rock says you're not meeting that person on the first date, you're meeting their representative.
Absolutely, that's my point. So if you're meeting the representative on the first date,
You don't know that person.
look,
You know their representative.
If you have great chemistry with that representative and you smash that person, why in the world would you put yourself in jeopardy of having a baby?
It doesn't seem like a smart idea.
It's not a smart move. So if you're going to at least play that game, understand what it is you're doing. Understand that we didn't get to this point on the first or second date and be like, man, I think I'm in love with him or her.
So let's go backwards a second.
Let's go.
And before we wrap it up, I'm going to ask you what I missed. And I got some rapid fire questioning for you too.
Shoot.
But before we do that,
This is good. This is good stuff.
Let's go to the out of house dad.
Ooh.
How does that dad teach his son to be resilient, be confident, be a man? How does that dad with, let's say, a competing values?
Competing values.
Well, let's say,
We'll translate that.
Go ahead. They got different philosophizations.
Yeah, well, competing values just basically means you got more than one person in your ear as a youngster because now you're now in two different homes with two different sets of rules. It's no longer just your father having the say. Hopefully,
I mean, I lived it, right? My son is 17.
Yeah.
I was separated right before he was 3, divorced by the time he was not even 4 yet.
Right.
So I lived it.
It's
but
a tough,
you go ahead, man.
It's a tough scenario. I mean, it's tough, but the advantage of doing it that early in life is that he only knew you. You know, now if there was another man that came into the picture early, brought some competition, and it's my philosophy that it's up to the outside dad to make the contact as often as possible with said child, because it's my responsibility as the divorced dad or the outside dad to make sure that that boy becomes a man.
Well, I was lucky in a way because I got divorced right after they changed the divorce law, family law, that it was much more accepted to get 50-50 custody as a father than it was even a few years before my divorce.
And
there's different laws in different states. So I'm only speaking for Florida, and I got divorced in Florida. So, you know, that's what affected me personally. But I got 50-50 custody, and it wasn't a huge deal.
I'm even talking about the guys that's not married.
Okay.
Because when you're not married, and you really are still screwed. You know, when you're not married, it's her baby.
Okay.
Unless you are on the birth certificate or because if you are on that birth certificate in Florida, you are going to more than likely be on child support if there's any complaint whatsoever.
All right.
So I know men here in this state that have put themselves on child support because they didn't want the argument.
Okay.
So they put themselves on child support. But then I said to those individuals, okay, you paid the money that the state said you're required to pay, but what about the time and you being there for that child? To me, the money pales in comparison to the time spent with that, especially, well, I'm not gonna say male or female, with the child, period. But as far as for that boy, because that's what you brought up, to become a man, it's up to the father. When you start saying, well, my baby mama didn't have them call me and all this other kind of foolishness, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. It's when you're separated from the nuclear situation and you don't make that time to pursue and see your kids as often as you possibly can, I think that's an epic fail on that man. That's my opinion. That's how I feel. I think it's up to him to make sure that he's, and I'm speaking from a manhood perspective. It's up to him to make sure that relationship gets solvent and gets developed.
Okay.
I think it's up to the man.
What if the mom is blocking it? Because that happens.
Then you make that lawyer rich, because now you got to go and fight for your time, because you can go and get a blood test. You can go and court order yourself a blood test. Hey, look, I didn't sign the birth certificate and it was born. We was just dating, da 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 da. but I want to spend time with my child. Boom, I'm gonna go to get blood tests and get a lawyer to fight for my custody rights. It's gonna cost you, but if that's what you want to do and be involved with that child's life, damn it, that's what you need to do. In my opinion, it's worth it. The hell we go through for trying to be a good father pales in comparison, because I know some sorry mofos that have literally never paid a dime of child support, barely see the kids if or ever, and nobody ever goes and pursue them. But the father that's there doing his best and trying to do all this other stuff, he catches hell. So I don't know what that philosophy is or how it comes about, but that sucks. And I think that, again, it goes back to, because here's the thing, especially with divorcing, when the couple is truly done with one another, co-parenting is smooth as silk. But the only reason there's bumps in that road is because one of those parties is not over the hurt, and they want to make sure that that other person hurts. Prove me wrong in the comments, everybody. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. If you done with that person, like completely done with them, and it's cool, man, look, it ain't no problem for them to come pick their child up.
Well, I want to go on record as saying I have no comment at all to that statement.
And you shouldn't.
I'm just going to have no comments.
You shouldn't, but that's the truth. I mean, anybody else that can prove me wrong.
I want to hear them too.
If both parties are done with one another, co-parenting is the easiest thing in the world. Just the same fact of if you have two friends that get together and help each other have a baby, they have a great relationship as parents because they didn't want the relationship between them.
Okay.
So that goes to show you that it's unresolved issues, unresolved hurt that causes that one parent or the other to still have resistance when it ain't about you no more. It's about the child. The person ain't even interested in you no more. Why are you still holding this anger and resentment towards your now ex? That's why you're an ex. Boom. But now the ex, he's not an ex-father or she's not an ex-mother. Get over your personal issues, move on with your own personal life, but let the parents be parents.
All right. All right. So let me ask you this. What did I miss, Vince? What did I forget?
You said you had something that you felt like you missed. I don't know. I've been cooking.
I don't know. I feel I just wanted to wind you up and let you cook.
And you did. I listen.
So
he knows this is very. This is a very good subject for me because I've coached these kids. I've seen a lot of kids that didn't have dads in their life, and I've seen the ones that did, and I see the difference.
Okay.
In them early on, and as a coach, I wound up raising a lot of these kids. Along with my own. But again, it don't make me perfect. It don't make them perfect. I'm just putting a person in their life that they can depend on. So
do we need to check your blood pressure before we end this with rapid fire questioning, or are you okay?
And I think I got a couple more points to give. So go ahead and shoot the rapid fire.
So
Kurt, you let them do this to me.
So how about this statement? True or false?
Go.
Weak men are created by easy lives.
100%.
Is masculinity being punished?
Yes.
Are boys being raised softer? We already know the answer to that. Is social media worse than drugs for teenagers?
I'll give you a 20-second snippet. It's the same parallel to sugar.
Ooh.
It's the same parallel to sugar.
We don't like sugar here.
But sugar's legal.
Yes.
Sugar is a legal drug.
So is the cell phone.
And so is the cell phone. So is that. So is it worse? It has the same effects.
Okay.
You're destroying yourself with a legal thing.
Okay. Are modern relationships doomed to fail?
Yes, because of false expectations and no real preparation. Nobody taught you how to date. Because if your mama's single and her mama's single and all her sisters are single, you ain't never seen no quality relationship be successful in your immediate household. So you don't know how to have a successful relationship.
All right.
And you're going to take advice from your single mama, your single grandmama, and your single aunties. Okay, so no, go.
Is comfort ruining ambition?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The wealthiest people in the world usually started out very poor.
Okay. Are people performing relationships instead of living them?
Performing relationships. Man, I don't think that they're really having quality relationships. So I'm not going to say performing. That's a tough question. I don't know what performing means.
Do you agree with Dana White when he says that the 5% of kids right now that are absolute savages and learn how to hustle and work their butts off and run businesses and start companies gonna steamroll the other 95%?
I think we said that earlier. I think I said that they are going to be the very successful people that's going to run the country.
So Dana's right.
He's 100%
on that
right.
One, he's right.
On that one.
Okay.
On that one. These people, you have to have a little hunger, a little grit. You got to have a little to you, a little chutzpah.
And in order to do that, you got to get your butt kicked, right? Life is going to kick your butt. It's just at what age do you not get protected from it, right?
Listen, when as a young man, I think the fastest value is to learn how to hear a no and not get your feelings hurt. You got to be able to hear no and say, okay, boom. All right, that approach didn't work. Let me try this approach. Let me try this approach. There's a sales book, and how many no's do you take before you give up on the sale?
All of them.
Well, per the book, it's at least 7.
Okay.
You got to give them 7 opportunities to tell you no, that they don't want to buy your product. Well, guess what? If I'm a young man trying to date, I'm the product. I'm going to give you 7 opportunities to get with this.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you 7 opportunities. And if you tell me again, or if you tell me on the 3rd one, hey, get the hell out of my face, you know, calling the police, okay, then I don't need to go to all 7.
And that spills over into everything else in life, right? What about when you're interviewing for your first job? What about you're interviewing for your 15th job?
Absolutely.
What about when you have you decide you're going to start your own company and you're scared to pick up the phone and call that first prospect?
Right.
That ain't going to fly.
Or what about when you're 47 and you get laid off and you've been on that job for 20 years and now you got to go start over. And now here you are older. You've been making more money. You don't know how to start over again, how to add value to yourself. Hey man, that's a dangerous spot to be in. So you got to already have these values within. So absolutely. I think that.
So let's close it out on this. Why don't you give these people the moral of the story of this whole thing? What's the moral of the story?
Moral of the story is let's protect our future generations.
Okay.
By taking our time before we have babies.
Okay.
Take our time before we have babies. Let's build the bond of the relationship first before we have babies. If we do that, man, that gives that gives those kids an opportunity to see what a successful relationship should look like.
Well, and I'll add one thing to it. Don't be afraid, because in life, in everything, if you don't ask, you ain't getting.
Closed mouths don't get fed on the boulevard.
There you have it. All right.
Look at you, boy. You done got me all out here.
That's it, man.
Hey, listen, podcast.
Now we're gonna go enjoy our cigars and chill.
Podcast twins. We are multifaceted, and you know, we talk about this kind of stuff because we have families ourselves. We're interested in how our kids are going to grow up and how other kids are going to grow up. So, yeah, man, this is not a topic that we're gonna shy away from. You will hear this come up again. We may even bring in some other people to chime in on this. So,
well, especially when you put it in the comments and tell us we're dead wrong on certain things.
And what questions should he have asked me?
There you go.
Or what answers should I have said back? So, hey, leave all the comments and questions, whether you loved it or hate it. Let us know what you think.
So from the Frey residents here, thank you, Curfton, for lending us your house. It's a beautiful place. We got some drinks. We got some cigars. Podcast twins are out.
Peace.